Thank you, Senator Mikulski. Thank you, Madam Chair. I am really glad that we're holding this hearing because this is so vitally important to our entire country and our future. If we invest in American innovation, plain and simple, we're investing in our future. And as I think all of us have agreed, this is one of the most important, most dynamic areas of federal investment. And for us to be restricting and reducing the amount of investment in fundamental science and research means we are steadily creating an innovation deficit. We are unilaterally disarming in the race for global leadership in new inventions, and as a result, if we're not inventing things here, we're not making things here, and the things that we are inventing here are increasingly not being made here. There is a critical connection between advanced manufacturing and basic science being done by federally funded labs. So I will have some questions for the record about technology transfer and advanced manufacturing. Let me just turn for a moment, if I could, to two specific areas of real interest to me. Because I think if we're going to have a more sustainable and secure energy future, if we're going to have better protected consumers or better national security, if we're going to find our ways to innovate across an incredibly broad array of things, we need the whole ecosystem of innovation to be stronger, and you play a central role in making that happen. If I could, within NSF, there is a particularly interesting program to me that supports science, engineering, and education for sustainability, or the SEAS program. And within it is a sustainable chemistry initiative that has dramatic potential, I think, in terms of replacing rare strategic minerals with more commonly available, re-engineering the basic processes of industrial production and making them of a lighter footprint and more cost-effective for us in the United States. Tell me, if you would, how you see that cross-disciplinary SEAS initiative making a difference going forward.
Senator, I don't know a lot about the details of SEAS. I know that it's been a high priority. It was a one-time program that would last for a certain number of years, I believe on the order of a decade, put a lot of investment into it, and then it would have seeds that would be that would initiate other programs. And so I know that we're still continuing to fund it. It has a life course, and then it will what it's produced will be taken hold of in other ways that we're learning from that model. But it's been, as you said, enormously productive thing. It is actually, it's one of the things that's been explained to me, and this is my first month as director, of the new kind of more risky initiatives that we do for a certain amount of time that can yield great fruit, and we take from that lessons in order to be able to have calls for other proposals that use the same kind of methods, but in perhaps a different way.
Well, there is increased interest and investment in the private sector, to the point Senator Harkin made earlier. Doing basic science really is about taking risks the private sector won't take and scaling up the things that have been developed through SEAS and through the Sustainable Chemistry Initiative, which grew out of the America Competes Act. Strikes me as well worth our time, if I might, Dr. Moniz. The idea and EPSCoR programs, which cross NIH, NSF, DOE, are also of real interest to me because they broaden the circle of who can compete for and participate in federally funded research. Speak to me for a moment, if you would, about how EPSCoR has made a difference in broadening the range and reach of research institutions and individuals, and of strengthening the innovation pipeline for the United States.
Thank you, Senator Coons. If I may just again add one editorial remark on the critical materials that you raised, obviously we all got a very rude awakening a few years ago with the Chinese and rare earths, and I think many people did not realize how ubiquitous the rare earths were. And now we have a major hub at the Ames Laboratory at Iowa State, which is focused exactly on that problem as well, I think very complementary to the NSF. With regard to EPSCoR, I frankly am I'm a big fan of EPSCoR. I was actually involved in the first years of EPSCoR, actually in South Carolina. So with EPSCoR, we have the chance to have states that do not have as much funding in research as others, with some matching funds, develop programs competitively. I'll give you the example that I was involved in, ended up with a biology program and a nuclear physics program. The latter became quite nationally competitive as a result of that. Another thing I like about EPSCoR so much is, and I think we can even increase our focus on undergraduates participating in the research, because frankly, we have undergraduate talent all across this country, and many of them don't have the access to the research opportunities that others do.
I appreciate your comments. I think continuing to work in partnership to build out and to strengthen STEM disciplines at the undergraduate and graduate level, research capabilities at a broader range of colleges and universities in the United States, and then the tech transfer capabilities of the national labs is something worthy of all of our attention. You mentioned in passing hubs. I'll just simply say that manufacturing hubs that allow us to coordinate federal investments in cutting-edge technology research and translate it directly into actual advanced manufacturing in the United States also strikes me as a strategy well worth our time. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.